think one of my favorite, like, scenes, I'm not even going to say it, but, like, my favorite line regarding to one of the scenes is the "My life is ruined" line, because it's based off of an entirely real conversation that I had with Christy the writer. So, yeah, I think that's probably one of my favorite lines. It's just like when I like put my head on my hands and I'm just like, my life is ruined. Because literally, my life is ruined. We are men. It is we are men. It will always be we are men.
I can say that I really enjoy doing like the kind of more serious stuff. Like when I'm talking about Corinne and how she's really angry with me, I just, even though it's sad, I get really into doing that. It's just kind of, I don't know, it works really well. And I feel confident after I do those scenes.
Favorite line was probably because the fact that it works so well with the actress that I was working with. There's this scene in the Lesbian Hamlet episode where Andrea, who plays Nell, just goes, "Nope," and like throws her script, which is hilarious to me. And then I do this bit where I just go like, "Quick, can you guys just like, come on," like because the fact that both Saige and Andrea were both very stuck in their characters of like, I'm not doing this. It really allowed me to just be like really fed up and like, guys, come on, kind of feeling. And it was, I don't know why. That's just like probably a line that I got a kick out of saying it every time, even though there's some really weird lines of the whole episode. That's probably the more normal ones. It's just funny to me.
I think it was actually from the first episode that I was in when Felix is like, "Oh, did you get new glasses?" And I just kind of deadpan, like, "No, my hair is pink." And especially because like it wasn't scripted, we were just kind of trying to ease the transition. But I just really liked it. I thought the reaction was really good.
I don't know, like mostly my lines have been pretty like intense and like cool, like dramatic, like showstoppers. I really liked whenever I said, "Why'd you jump?" And then there's like a moment. I like that one.
Wrapping paper. It was just, it's one of those things where you're really nervous beforehand because you know you can't screw up, but it just felt so genuine and I had a lot of fun with it, and it's just something I can't wait to actually, at this moment when we're filming this, I have not seen the final product, but I am so excited because it was so much fun and so funny.
I think one of my favorite parts of season 2 is really growing between the Nell and Cassie like relationship, and on scenes that like you really get to see our friendship kind of blossom, like the Truth or Dare scenes when it's just like Cassie and Nell having fun and there's no like drama, there's no intensity, it's just them kicking back and relaxing. Like those were probably my favorite scenes to film because it's fun, and if for once it makes me feel like Nell isn't angry at the world.
I know I keep interrupting your interview, but I love you.
I love you too.
Favorite scene to film is actually from Lesbian Hamlet as well. It's when Corinne comes in and catches us playing around, and it was really interesting for me, at least, because the fact that that was the first scene that we filmed with our new actress Sam, who plays Corinne, and I wasn't really sure how things were going to work with her. I'd met her once before, and she just rolled with the punches on everything. She brought a lot to the table immediately, and it was a really great breath of fresh air for me to just go like, "Did you do something different? Did you get new glasses?" And she goes, "No, my hair is pink." And she just looks at me, deadpan did it. And I remember when she did it the first time, I was like, this is going to work perfectly. And so that just, it has to be one of my favorite scenes because it was just kind of off the wall. We made it up at the last second, and it works perfectly.
Well, I wasn't in this one, but I think the one where we filmed the wrapping paper on the door, because I wasn't in that episode, but I helped set that up. And I think that was just really fun, especially looking back at the footage and seeing Saige and Andrea's reactions to Jason bursting through the wrapping paper. I think that was really fun.
I think my favorite scene was actually the first one I ever filmed, was whenever I come in and see Nell for the first time and I sob into her. I think that was my favorite one to film, just because it was so much of a challenge, and it was also like really fun to like join the cast. So that was like my first experience around everybody, and I was crying real hard. So yeah, I think that was my favorite one to film so far.
some scenes with Nell at the very beginning, you know, we're still kind of getting used to each other. It's so cool. We finally get to interact. And at first you don't know how that's going to go, but it gradually, now we're really into the hang of things. But at first it was one of those things where we were nervous about how it was going to turn out. And I believe it turned out really well, luckily. But at first those were probably the hardest things.
Adaptability, I guess, as we changed rooms, like our set, that actually wasn't that hard. Changing a room was great, actually, but getting used to an entirely new characters, when we have a certain chemistry between, like, the original cast, it's a little bit difficult. Not that it's, like, hard per se, but getting used to new people is always difficult when you've been working with the same people for months.
The hardest thing was probably the wrapping paper prank scene. It's such a small part of it, but there was a lot riding on that personally for me, because of the fact that I was the one mainly putting the wrapping paper on. I had to cut slits that didn't look too visible, and then I had to be the guy that actually, like, jumped through it. And it was just one of those, like, I mess up one take and I'm screwed. And I remember it's really funny because when I jumped out and I look at Saige, who plays Cassie, and she has this just look of, like, complete terror, shock, and, like, laughing at the same time. And my only thought was, like, please don't break character. And she didn't. She kept it the entire time, which was great. We all did. There was a genuine shock on all of us, and it just made it priceless. Every look that you see on that face, the look of pride on my face, is very real, because I did not think it was going to work.
I think just those really big blocks of dialogue, even though I personally didn't have that many, but it was still just something really new for me. So trying to get those down, and then I think it was mostly just the pressure of, like, I knew that if I messed up, that, like, that'd have to make everyone go again. And I just felt really bad having to do that. So I think it was just trying to make sure that I remembered my lines, like, for the sake of everyone else.
The first episode that I'm in, whenever I come in and, like, have to sob repeatedly, it's not, like, the easiest thing I've ever done. So it's, like, a challenge as an actor to get to that place, like, to do multiple takes, like, in, like, a very short span of time, and, like, to have to, like, take breaks in between, and to, like, repeatedly come back and give, like, the same good performance every time, so that they have, like, as many options as possible between takes of which one they want to choose. That was a challenge, but it was also a really satisfying, like, good challenge. So it was still, like, a good thing. I still enjoyed doing it.